This is the Astros Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Houston Astros, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
If you were with us after the first game of this series, which was Tuesday night between the Astros and the Phillies, I admittedly at the end of the show previewed the next game. And I said, this is a game against Zach Wheeler that I could see it being a tough one to go win. And we could very well tomorrow night be talking about a loss. And man, did the Astros make me look like an idiot tonight. Now look, they did not score a lot of runs at all. They didn't need to. Because for the second consecutive night, they shut out the Philadelphia Phillies, and they continued the trend that they have had for years in this golden era of Astros baseball. As I always like to use the words, elite run prevention. It's exactly what the Astros did again tonight, as they are making a statement for the first two games of this six-game homestand against two of the National League's best teams that they're no cakewalk, especially when they play at home in 2025. Hello and welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast tonight. I am your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you as always. We got a lot to talk about. This team's pitching just unbelievable again tonight. Do you really need much offense? The clutch swing that they did get late to add a little bit of cushion to it. And can they finish off a sweep tomorrow? We're going to get through all that here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. This episode tonight is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So what are you walking away from this one talking about?
This is what you'll be talking about.
I gave it away to start the show, but it's obvious. 2 nights in a row that they've shut out the Philadelphia Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies got some guys in that lineup that can hit. Now, I know they're without Bryce Harper right now, but I doubt that Bryce Harper being in the lineup right now would make a difference for them in this series. The Astros, look, they were on the ropes a couple of times. Bases were loaded there for Philadelphia in the 8th inning. You get out of it, and there you go. Brian King's had a little bit of a rough go of it of late overall, but gets the job done, gets the out, and hands it off to the 9th inning. 5 pitchers tonight for the Astros shut out the Phillies. They give up 7 hits. 3 of those hits were from King. 4 of them were from Colton Gordon, who was fantastic tonight, by the way. Okert, Sousa, and Hader all perfect in their innings of work out of the bullpen tonight. Hader, again, been unbelievable. Look at the pitching line tonight. 9 innings. This is for the team. 9 innings, no runs, 7 hits, 10 strikeouts, no walks. That's a pitching line. That is a pitching line right there. And then you pitch out of situations again, like I mentioned, to help you out. And I don't know how much the world is, as always, paying complete attention to what the Astros do. They really don't. But we're talking about true statement type of stuff with what this team has done. I mentioned it last night. I'm going to mention it again. It's truly remarkable at times what they've been able to pull off with the amount of injuries that they have had so far this season. They're now 47-33. 47-33. A team that hovered at the 500 mark for the good first, 2 months of the season almost. They are now, by themselves, and I don't know if the Yankees are playing or not, or if they've played, locked in as the second best record in the American League. The Yankees, they won. So they have a half-game lead on the Yankees. And we're talking about a team now that with 47 wins, if they were in the National League, would be tied for the second best record as well with that Philadelphia team in Chicago, right behind the Dodgers who have 49. I had my doubts about this baseball team this season. Now, look, I can completely acknowledge that there are ups and there are downs of a major league season. There will come a point again where this team slumps. There will come a point where they lose games, multiple in a row, or go on a stretch where they lose 8 out of 12 or something. It's going to happen. But here's what they're doing now. And this is why this is so vital. They're building a cushion. They're giving themselves a cushion for if that moment does come. And look, it also couldn't. We can acknowledge that. I mean, the Astros, strength of schedule-wise, the rest of the season, have a strength of schedule that is, I think, a second easiest in the league. So they're going to play a lot of opponents that they should beat. And they may never, hit a hard bottom again at all. They'll probably have some lulls for sure. But here's what I do know. For all the concerns that we all might have, or, you have the frustrations with watching this, and you could say a lot about, they didn't score any runs the first 2 games of the series. They only scored 3 runs. Well, last night they faced Ranger Suarez, who's been tremendous this season for Philadelphia, and was unbelievable last night. And then Zach Wheeler tonight, who is one of the, at worst, 5 best pitchers in the game. And they didn't do a lot against him. They kind of got a gift. They shouldn't say they got a gift in that first inning because Trey Turner doesn't field that ball, which, if you've heard me do this show before, I'll say it again. Official scoring is an absolute joke. That was not a base hit. That was an error. That was a play that should have been made every single time by a major league shortstop. It was an error. But they were rewarded as a hit. Home cooking from the official score. They get that gift. And then they get the one clutch swing at the end of the game from Caratini, who's been captain. I mean, look, I say it every time the guy does anything. I don't know how Victor Caratini doesn't have a job somewhere else where he plays more. He is playing a lot here now with injuries and whatnot, and the need for him, especially to have him in there when he can hit left-handed. Man, he just seems to find it in the big moments. It's really awesome to watch. But here's what I do know. Again, is that they keep doing stuff like this consistently, where they go out there and they've got, this elite run prevention, as I always like to put it, going. They're going to be so difficult for anybody to beat because we've talked about it a lot. There are a lot of good teams in Major League Baseball right now. The Yankees, for as much as you might hate them, they're still a good team. I think they have some big flaws that are showing like they typically do. Tampa in that division, very good team. I have a lot of respect for Tampa. Toronto's been a good team this year in that division. Detroit has been the best team in the American League. If they got if they could add a big bat in their lineup, they're going to be really scary. The rest of that division's got some respectable teams. You got the Astros. The Mariners are not a bad team by any means. You got the Phillies, you got the Mets, you got the Cubs, you got the Brewers, you got the Cardinals, who are all playing good baseball. Cincinnati's on 1-2 lately. The Dodgers, the Giants, the Padres. The National League is a lot more stacked than the American League. But what I'm saying, bring up all these teams, is that you go look at all them as I bring them up, there's no world beater in any of them. And that's why it's going to get really interesting here between now and the trade deadline to see what do the Astros do. Because they got to be feeling it. In that clubhouse they are. That clubhouse has to be really feeling the vibe that, hey, we can go out and we can do anything right now. That kind of stuff does matter. Mentality matters. Culture matters. All those things that we always talk about, they matter. And you keep producing wins like this, how do you go into a trade deadline and not make additions to this club if you can? I mean, I admit it multiple times, kind of like I did last year. My wife always tells me it's the swings of the season. I always do it. I have a period of the season where I think, it's over. They stink. It's not going to happen this year. What do you know? I think I'm more impressed with what they're doing. Maybe I shouldn't say that I'm more impressed than any other season. I think I have a massive appreciation for what they're doing in this season, again, given all the players that they've lost injury-wise. And that they've done this as well. Literally, I mean, they've gotten literally nothing out of Yordan Alvarez this year. Nothing. Best player on their team. Best hitter on their team. Absolutely nothing. And he's hurt. And here you are. 14 games over 500. 14. Who'd have thunk it? Not I. Not I for a while. Would you? Did you? Yeah, I know some of you are going to say that you would, but honestly, did you? Chance to get to 15. And Colton Gordon, we got to say more about Colton Gordon here before we get to our first little timeout. Colton Gordon is a guy that fills up the strike zone. I have concerns with guys like that. We've seen it in the past. A guy like Jose Urquidy could be a guy that would pound the strike zone like crazy, and at times he's insanely efficient and gets a ton of outs. And then there's times where, you aren't effective inside the zone. He was effective inside the zone all night. 5 shutout from him. Like I mentioned, the 4 hits. He didn't walk anybody as well. He's not walked. I think he's got 4 walks now across 40 innings of pitching in the big leagues this year. I mean, nobody knew who Colton Gordon was, unless you're like a just minor league freak. Nobody knew anything about any of these guys that have come up here and done this at all. You heard the names, sure. Between him and Walter and Gus, it's unbelievable. Not only are they throwing these guys out there who have no major league experience, they usually fail at some point, fall on their face. None of them have, really. Augusto's had a couple of wobbles, sure. But, overall, these guys they've handled every single moment. It's incredible. It gets back to this. This team, you go throughout the entire – there's a bunch of teams that are really good at developing pitching. There might not be a better franchise at developing pitchers and getting pitchers to utilize what they do best and execute it consistently than this franchise. Now, do they have an issue with injuries all the time? Of course. It's whatever. Maybe they're throwing a few too many of those breaking balls. Maybe that's why their elbows are breaking off pretty quick. But you know what they do? They develop these guys, and they game plan it. They scheme it better than anybody in the sport. It's impressive. Just again, when you think the window might be closing on you a little bit, things like this can keep it open longer. When you can pitch like this, I guess we've seen it. We've watched enough postseason baseball in Astros history now. The offense does win you championships. There's no denying that. But what it comes down to in the biggest moments, it comes down to you pitching. We've seen it. All the big moments. There's been big offensive moments, but it all came down to pitchers executing in the biggest moments. That's what this team basically does every single night. I'm having a lot of fun watching it. I'm going to have a lot of fun, hopefully, watching it again tomorrow. They look to finish off this series. Let's talk a little bit about that. Can they get the sweep? How important this sweep would be? And we'll do all of that next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Tell you guys first off about our friends at Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money was easy? It felt faster and easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control of your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Of course, there's always going to be some great things about it that make you, get into this app and love it. For me, I'm telling you, when we get into it, it's about managing the money with my wife. It makes it just so much easier. We have all our accounts in one place, and I love that with Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Before we get back to our discussion on the Astros winning again tonight, shutting out the Phillies again, let's talk about Rugiet. Yes, that's right, guys. You've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time for Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow, unlike the usual pills that can take hours. Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast, on average in 15 minutes. Effects that last up to 36 hours. You can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. You can read real customer reviews on their site. It's helping a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnMLB and use code LockedOnMLB to get 15% off today. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnMLB and use promo code LockedOnMLB for 15% off. I guess you could say all the Astros do is own the Philadelphia Phillies at Minute Maid Park because, well, they did it once again tonight, shutting them out in impressive fashion. Colton Gordon, four relievers out of the bullpen, and the Astros with a 2-0 victory in this one. This is, of course, the Locked On Astros Postcast. If you're just joining us live, appreciate you. You can always get this show anywhere that you're looking for your podcast. Go and search Locked On Astros. You get this show and the Locked On Astros Daily Show. Brett and Eric talking your Stros. Make sure you check them out as well. We appreciate you stopping by the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you're new to this channel as well. We're here after all of the games. Which, quick note, programming note, 75% confident we'll be able to pull it off tomorrow for the day game. I will let you guys know for sure, but I feel like we'll be able to pull it off. Schedule's a little tricky early in the day, but we're gonna make the effort to make sure that we have a show after the 1:10 first pitch tomorrow, the finale of this series before the Chicago Cubs come to town, which is gonna be a fun one tomorrow. Hunter Brown, he's first of all, he's leading the American League in ERA this season, so he's got nothing to really be upset about. But a nice little friendly competition between he and Framber Valdez in terms of who's going to go out there and be the guy that pitches the best each time through the rotation. He's going to go up against Christopher Sanchez. He's really good too. 6-2, 287 ERA in the season. It'll be another great pitching battle. This the fun thing about this series so far. Really good pitching matchups, and they've delivered through two. I mean, if you're a Phillies fan, you're of course frustrated tonight, but the facts are the facts. The Astros are one of the best pitching teams in the league, and you can't be too upset. Like, I can acknowledge on their side of things, Zach Wheeler is unbelievable. Ranger Suarez is unbelievable. And Christopher Sanchez going tomorrow, he's also unbelievable. It's a tough task. Got the series win already. Kind of a big deal. It's nice to have that. Now can you get the sweep? It's difficult, I think it goes either way because it just depends on which pitcher blinks first, honestly, tomorrow. It kind of like this entire series is gone. Who's blinking first? You got a 1-0 game and you got a 2-0 game. 3 runs in this series total. And like I always like to mention, you look at the time of game, they went fast. I love a good fast baseball game. Hey, before we get out of here, who wins the player of the game tonight?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I'm going to go collective effort. I'm giving it to 5 guys, not the place that you eat hamburgers. 5 guys that pitched tonight. Now, look, I could take it away from Brian King because he did have the bases loaded. Gave up 3 hits out of the bullpen. I guess I could give it to just Colton Gordon. But I just want to recognize the entire effort. Look, the entire pitching staff did their thing again tonight. Shutting out a team it's a really good baseball team. It's a contender to go to the World Series in the National League again this season. Shut them out. 2 games in a row. The Phillies had been, I saw something on it yesterday too. It'd been a while since they'd been shut out. And not only have they been shut out, they've been shut out 2 games in a row. That's 18 straight innings in this series without a single Philadelphia Philly crossing the plate. It's big time. You might as well sweep them tomorrow. You might as well get yourself ready for a Cubs series to hopefully sweep them as well. Astros at home, by the way, again this year. I mean, it's so weird how these seasons they're so different all the time. Astros are 29-13 at home now. I mean, they've played better ball on the road. If they have a win, if they could ever get to that record, have a winning record on the road this year, they're going to be fine. And they keep beating great teams for all the haters and all the people that love to complain about everything. Astros record against teams with a record of 500 or better now, 28-21 on the season. There is not a single team in baseball that has more wins against teams with a record of 500 or better than the Astros. The next closest in terms of wins, win total against teams with a record of 500 or better is the Dodgers, who have 26, and they're 26-23. The Astros are 28-21. They're the best team in baseball against good teams. Where you at? Where you at, people that love to complain? I don't see you. I don't hear you. Where are you? It's okay. Appreciate you guys joining me tonight. Thank you. There's a lot of you here watching live. Make sure you come back. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll do it again this weekend when they play the Cubs as well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night. We'll talk again after the finale of this series. Locked On Astros Postcast.